All right, y'all, what's going on? What's going on? We're here for the Greg Said It Live. Thank you all for showing up. First thing, we on our regular schedule this week. Let's get this thing started. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you like, share, make sure you subscribe. Got this my buff hat on. It's time to have some buff conversations here. I do have some stuff coming though. I got a lot of work to do. I actually I call myself so smart. I said I'm gonna make my own hats. I'm not gonna be limited. I got my own machine. Make my own stuff. So I'm gonna have some custom stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna just have this one little hat right here. In the future, I got some custom stuff coming, and I don't know if I'm quite gonna make it available to the public. I don't know if I want to take that on, but I'm definitely gonna be a little. This it's not gonna just be this one hat I'm wearing. I'm telling you that now. I'm gonna get me some hats. You know, trucker hats make this thing happen. Cause I find it hard to find inventory sometimes, like especially when the season starts. Like when I was looking for this hat, and they're very, very costly. But no hate to the capitalists or whatever, who making it happen. I get it, but I'm gonna do my own thing this year. So y'all can enjoy this hat while you're at it, because it's gonna be some different. I got some nice stuff coming, to be honest. But with that being said, today on this wonderful Sunday, Greg Said It Live, I wanted to talk about Colorado, the past versus the future. I was playing with a lot of different titles. And the reality is Colorado definitely has a past. We can't deny their past. They have a past prior to Coach Prime even showing up in the first place. We're not going to ignore all the lifelong buffs and all that good stuff that they have going on. But, you know, it is what it is. And shout out to the people who've been with Colorado. Us new Colorado fans are not, and we call it fan for lack of a better term. I don't always consider myself a fan. I'm a supporter, and I'm not gonna demean. I'm not gonna insult the people who really, really fans like that, or who's really been with Colorado like that. So shout out to the people who've been with that, because that's not my job. I don't think that's anybody else's job. I don't think anybody said that. Some people may take it that way, but I definitely, like I said, I came supporting Coach Prime, what he's trying to do. It's a hard feat. Clearly, it's a task that I wouldn't wish on any man, but you got to be built for this thing. He's definitely built for what he's trying to do. He has the confidence, he has the support, he has the knowledge and the resources to do this task that how many men came before him and didn't make it, you know, trying to do that. Oh, in Colorado. Colorado's been going through it for a minute now. I think he's like the third African American coach. So maybe they just really, really been trying to do that thing. And he's probably making an account for all of the coaches before him, because of what he's bringing to that, the exposure, the excitement, the money. I mean, he had to be a great investment, not just now, but long term. We're gonna talk about that. Like, it's long term. Shout out to R Jizzle. Appreciate you for the super chat here. You say we need some moderators. I don't block a hater, but I ain't against a moderator. So you want to look more into talking more about that. You want to be a moderator. Anybody want to be a moderator going forward, because it's gonna be an interesting season. Reach out to me in the description. Send me a text. Matter of fact, in the description I have a number. You can send it there. You can reach out to me. We can talk more about what that would look like, because I know other channels have it, but we'll talk more about that. Appreciate you, R Jizzle. Uh, is that Elena asked about the special for the Tangle box? I have a special for the Greg Said It supporters, and that special is that $2.99. Again, you see that special running. You see, I don't step up a little bit. We have that showing. Tangle is definitely sponsoring today. I got the hookup on the Tangle boxes. I'm on one of their affiliates, reseller, whatever you want to call it. I make the availability for it. We have a few people here that got the box. I have the box, but oh, that's Alan. Okay, he said Alan. Yeah, Alan. So you want the Tangle box? Anybody who got it, they definitely will tell you it's a good thing. You know, it's streaming based, so you got to have a strong internet, of course. But man, I mean, the benefits far outweigh it. You can pay double, really. You can pay double what I'm posting here, and it still be a value because you got to look at most people paying around $100. They really have extra stuff. They paying up until almost $200 to try to get those channels they want, the NFL networks and all the special packages. They paying close to that a month. So you ask, well, what about this? What about that? It paid for itself within a couple of months. Plus, all the other things outside of the football channels and the TV channels. Like I said, I can eat with NFL. If you kind of blacked out in your area and you want to watch a particular city, I can watch any local. I can watch a local ABC, NBC, Fox channels. If I'm in another city, if I'm traveling, I want to see what's going on locally, I can pull it up on that box because they got all the local channels, most of the major city local channels. So when they come to sports, I can watch sports that they may not be showing in that region. So that's another thing. It's a lot of perks about the Tangle box. I don't really dig a lot into it. A lot of stuff I just found out over time, like movies that's fairly new, maybe in the theater, maybe just getting out. You can catch them on there. Old movies you've seen a long time ago, you can pull them up. Usually it's hard to find, or they're gonna charge you like out the yin yang. Even if you find it on some of those other sources, it's like it can cost you a lot per movie. And old TV series. I mean, I got go back to all the Family Matter TV series. This stuff like you just can't find, even if you try to get on the internet, you just can't find. You'd be surprised to find it in that Tangle box. I can watch cricket and wrestling. And like somebody said, who bought it here with me, they watched the last pay-per-view boxing fight. I didn't watch it, but they was able to watch it on pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is on there, international channels on there. So all that, it's a lot. It's value far extends just TV, movie, TV, international, you name it, it's on there. So I don't know. I feel like everybody should have it. I mean, it's a lot more comprehensive, a lot more simple setup than a Fire Stick, but it's mobile. Like you can unplug it, take it on the road with your plug it in the HDMI when you're traveling or when you with family. Boom, you know. So it is what it is. Check it out if you can. Somebody asked me something. What's on the agenda? Oh, we just talking about Colorado past versus future. We just talking about when he was playing. Yeah, we get into that. We get into that because, like I said, I watched the old Ric Flair. It definitely got a wrestling component on there. I haven't tried to look up, but it definitely got some wrestling stuff on there. So man, like I said, it got over 10,000 live channels, like over 100,000 movies, like over 40,000, series, TV series. I haven't even hit everything because I don't watch TV like that. That's another reason why I didn't want to pay for no cable like that. I don't watch TV like that. When I got my free time, I'm working, getting stuff done, and when I wanted to watch Colorado and they went to that Pac-12 and had all that nonsense going on, and everybody was scrambling trying to find it. I didn't want to really deal with the YouTube trying to find it and missing the game. So, and jumping around from Fubu TV and all that, I didn't want to deal with that like that. So, I just went on to see what I could do with the box, and it was pretty good. Even with the ESPN games, when they be starting 30 minutes after the start, waiting for another game to end, I still benefited from catching the game from the beginning. So it's a lot of perks. So just check it out, man. Y'all hit that. I'm gonna scroll it at the bottom. It don't hurt you. I'm personally, making sure that they ship it to you. So I'm the one dealing with it right now. At least I'm the one dealing with the whole. Make sure you get I send you a PayPal link, and I make sure that you get your box and everything, the address and everything. So that is straightforward as it's gonna get right there. What's going on? Everybody coming in, Miss Shirley. Some familiar faces. What's going on? Juan. Is it John or Juan? CP is him. Hate is real. You know, we're gonna get into that. We talked about some of these theories. They talk about conspiracy theory. It is what it is. Don't summons him up. You know, you know, when y'all see people like me on here, I don't made it clear. I mean, nobody know nobody like that. You know, people be on the internet crazy. Nobody know people like that. We all people with our own lives. And you look at a platform, you forget you're dealing with real people. I'm a real person just like everybody else here. Not a bot or a troll hiding behind some fake profile. So, you know, I'm not AI, you know. So when you don't really know people background, you don't really know where they coming from. I'm just a Colorado guy. You really don't know me outside of that. So anybody really know me like that, they know how like from a long time ago, you really don't want to do that kind of game, that kind of like when it came to joning and joking, like you're not gonna really be able to do tough. I mean, you really got to be like that. So I can get down with the clown down. You know, I can get down with that. And like some people really good at talking over people, and some people really good at like um that wordplay. And then sometimes you just meet your match. I've always been that guy. I don't put it out there, but I mean, I can get down with that, man. It's just all fun and games. It's cute. We talking football here. People want to challenge it, they'll find out. I mean, because this is not real life. This is just entertainment. So, you know, you want to play the word games with me, you know, you'll find out real quick. So, like I say, shout out for everybody being here. Let's say good morning. Juju connection. That's right. You saw him hanging up there with is it Cam Michael? Cam Michael. Shout out to his mom, Miss Michael. I'm in the real estate. She's actually a real estate agent in Georgia, in Middle Georgia, South Georgia. And shout out to her and her agency. And yeah, he's one of those guys that connected Juju. Pay attention. Georgia don't took over. They talked all that Florida talk. Coach Prime talked all that Florida talk. Them Georgia boys don't took over. I mean, when you look at all them boys come out of Eagles Landing. Now, a lot of people may not know what Eagles Landing is, but Eagle Landing come out of Georgia. It's like, you know, a little south of Atlanta, down 75, maybe about 30 minutes from downtown Atlanta. So, the Hood Brothers, Flapjack, R.J. Johnson, them boys come out of Eagles Landing. They all came together. Pay attention. We seen our boy, what's his name, Walker. He's coming out in another year. Marquez, he's another one. Was it Graham? Another one. Pay attention to the next couple classes. All these boys know Juju. It's a small circle. You know, when these boys been playing little league ball, they kind of around the same age. They played against each other. You know, all these elite teams and flag and these little 7-on-7 as they get older. But a lot of these boys played little league ball together, kind of like you seen with BJ Green, how he had that background with Coach Prime. I mean, even when we had Dylan Edwards, it was connections that brought these boys. Pay attention, these Georgia boys not coming by themselves. They coming in pairs. All these boys know Juju. They all came up with Juju. The ones who here now and the ones who committed to next year. Then you also look at Pastor Smith, E. Dewey Smith. It's interesting. I grew up in a church that Pastor E. Dewey Smith took over. I met him back when he first came to Atlanta from Macon, you know, with House of Hope, the Greater Travelers Rest. And I didn't know he was into sports like that. I didn't know. I know he had kids. I mean, his kids was young. They were babies back then. And I didn't know that they grew up in that Eagles land. And so that's really where that connection is coming from. It's coming from him out there. And Pastor Dewey has a lot to do with a lot of this. The fact that he's, you know, working directly. He's a support system for Coach Prime. And his resources is really coming in. So pay attention to these Georgia connections and transfers and look where they're coming from. Good afternoon. That's part of the past and future. It wasn't a lot of Georgia boys going. They were in Florida. Look, the Georgia boys weren't going to Colorado. But why are they going now? Yes, sir. I feel the same way. I think a lot of people connect them with Coach Prime. People say, "What's your football team?" That's a limited perspective. That's elementary, really, because it's levels to this thing. You on that level, it's people on different levels. Let me tell you, Coach Prime is attracting professionals. He's attracting leaders. He's attracting people who don't care nothing about no football. He's attracting people who don't care nothing about sports in general, but they support him because what he's doing and his mindset and how he's going about it, even he says beyond football. I'm preparing these kids for life. That's the type of people he support. He's not bringing football heads only. So when you expect people to turn on him because they're losing or this and that, what you really lacking is he has support because people want to support him. Period. And they're going to support him. And it's not about is he losing or not. That's what the haters and that's what the bandwagoners do. But some people gonna support Coach Prime simply because he Coach Prime. That's the low. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's the connect, and he said it. I mean, and that's really how sports work. That's how life works, and that's what he's showing. Everything is about relationships. People is not just going nowhere. Like even out all these years when people went to college, they went to college because they connected with somebody. They either with or played against, and they went there, or it was a coach that they really connected with. They connected with, the position coach or whoever was recruiting them. That's what make kids go to a school. That's why you see when coaches leave, these people turn around and transfer. They transfer because they go where they coach went. You look at it, that's been going on for a long time for the football knowers. If recruiting is all about relationship. So, yeah, you got that component of I'm gonna sell my school, but what's the school without relationships? What's the school without the person said I'm gonna look out for you, and your parents know they're gonna look out for you, and then you get a whole new staff come in. People leave not because of the school, but they leave because I don't know what's about to happen with these folks because they ain't really committed to me. That's not who I signed on with, and they will leave. They will leave. People go after relationships. Yeah, I mean, people jump clearly. Some people had teams. Some people leaving their teams. Like people asking me questions. I grew up. I don't care about sitting here in front of TV all day watching sports. That's what other people got time to do. I have other stuff I need to get done. You know, Time move fast. Weeks go by fast. I get stuff done on the weekend. So if I watch something, I have to be committed to it, or I catch it when I catch it. The Falcons come on. They sorry as dirt. I don't have no other reason to watch them. I watch them when I can. I might be at the house and it's on, or somebody else watching it is on. If it's a big game, you may watch it, but you ain't committed to it. That's how most people watch sports. Are they all into knowing everybody's name? Who does that? And the only reason I would do that, let's be real for all the fakeness. The only reason I would do all of that is because that's what I'm doing. It comes with the territory. It comes with me being a content creator that I should know what's going on with Colorado. So plus it's natural because I'm interested in it. It's not just something I'm doing. I'm interested in this whole storyline. So therefore, I'm going to know what's going on with the players. Therefore, I'm going to know what's going on with the coaching. And to whatever degree, some people have certain sources that I don't. I support other content creators. I started off with other content creators, and everybody started off that way. So, some people are known to bring breaking news. Some people interview players. Some people interview coaches and parents, and you just get all these different insights. That's the beauty of the Colorado content creators. You got people breaking down film. You got many different angles to look at this thing. I'm, like I always say, that common sense guy. I'm going to break it down to real life, the baby food, for people who can appreciate that, or people who don't really understand what's going on. I'm not going to talk over your head with all the football lingo that I learned over decades. over playing ball from little league to high school to college. It's cute to you, but for the person who's doing it. But for people who actually have a platform, you got to value the fact that we have different type of people. They have different backgrounds. They have different what they really want to know. And what I really think about is the big picture of it all. Like what's really going on. When we talk about Colorado past versus future, we're not talking X and O's per se, but we're really looking at what's really going on. Did you catch this? Do you notice that? Do you see that pattern? This is what to look out for. That's what I come with, you see, because it's a lot of things clearly beyond football related that's going on. Yeah. It's catching up here. Yeah, and I'm not even worried about gambling. Especially this year when I hear people talking crazy. Yeah, you want to, but that's not really my concern. And my concern is not to be right. Some people here to be right and get the ego fulfilled. That's not necessarily what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the storyline and just the it's a mystery in it, but it's also like a good movie, a good story. Like, whoa, they put it out. This be a good story. Like the underdog. That's the overdog. But it's an underdog because everybody's going to underestimate, going to undervalue what you do well. For example, Colorado, everybody say they line suck, they underweight. They caught it out. And we caught it out. Yeah, they was small. And boy, they had shallow depth. I mean, you built it off the portal and a light portal at that. And you had to take the scraps and make a team, right? Because the core players were gone. You already took over a losing program, so it's a lot of them already had left before he got there. A lot of great linemen that he could have used had already transferred before he even took over the team. He couldn't even talk to them. They already knew the team was about to break down for pretty much the third time since they've been there. Some of them they don't have two head coaches about to come on the third. They didn't know who it was going to be. Jerry Rice's son left. You think maybe he would have considered staying if he knew Coach Prime? He probably would have considered it, but he was already gone. And I bet he had regrets about it because USC has been up and down since too. But it sounded like the best idea. So you look at that story and how that went. The worst thing that happened, it could have happened to Colorado, happened. Their depth got exposed and injuries with it already shallow depth. They was actually bringing in. I've never seen people bring in several key players that's already hurt. I mean, we brought in a receiver from Baylor. It's been great. They never really got his shot up to show he fully recovered. We had McCaskill. We had Travis J. We had, I think it was a Vito. I don't know where he don't slid off to. I thought he was still here. We had several players, and we only had one when we took over the roster, which was Tyson, the receiver. He left, and we went and got several. I'm like, I've never seen that before, but that's what happened when you're trying to fill in a roster. From them guys might be ready, but not quite right. None of them guys was never ready. Then we had people who just got hurt and just never really got back healthy. And so our depth got exposed on two levels. And then Shador went down, and he was getting hit too much. And it's like, wow, the worst thing that could happen happened. Their depth got exposed. Yeah. I mean, really, I can't say I've never seen it because we've seen it in Jackson State, JSU. We've seen it there, but it was such on a smaller stage, and we knew most people weren't paying attention to it. But at the same time, it was there. Like in the HBCU, it was unreal. The fact that he was able to recruit top players to HBCU and the buzz and all the 5-star, 4-star out of high school looking there and putting JSU for clout, they say. Same way with Colorado. They would act like they looking at JSU. They the only one of that magnitude on anybody's list. But everybody was with this whole the black movement, go to HBCU movement after all the other stuff they were pumping up in the media. It just was perfect timing. No pun intended. So yeah, and then Coach Prime was there. But one thing they could never fake is the the ability to compensate for it all, because it would take years and a lot of money to ever rival these people who recruiting these kids. Your facilities, if you're looking at Colorado, it's about money. JSU never would have been able to pay what these. There's no way I'm going to JSU and living and being a slummish. It's better than most other schools, but compared to Ole Miss, and they're gonna put a few $100,000, a couple $100,000 in my pocket. It's just I don't care what you say. That's where I'm going, and that's what you've seen. So we seen it at that level, but it was no real threat like it is now. Now it's a threat. It's like it was a threat. They was throwing shots at him, talking about he was buying players, but he was like, I'm gonna buy players, we ain't got no money. That's when he first got down to Nick Saban and all that happened. And it's like, wow. They was getting attention because of what they did with Travis Hunter and Kevin Coleman, and then you saw the transfers come out of there who were, the backups, but they were exceptional at that level. Just like we get a backup now, they be like, oh, they improving and all that. But you do that at a Jackson State, these boys is going, at the FCS level, they starting to look high FCS, low FBS ish. He had some big linemen. I mean, it wasn't as big, but it was big for that level. That's where I get into this whole conversation with North Dakota State. Like we didn't just come from that. Like them linemen is nice side, but they still not what they Colorado last year size linemen. They maybe a little bit. I'm saying they're that quality. When we brought Washington and Bailey from over there from their school, and they were top linemen, and they came and just got ran through over here. That's the difference in level, and that's what they really about the experience. When they come and play Colorado, they're gonna have to go against, Shadozi, who just brutalized Texas and everybody last year. If you was that level, you wouldn't be there. Not all of you, maybe one of you, maybe one Tyler Brown on there, but the fact that you got to match up against Shadozi and Barnes and McNeil, and you got BJ Green, hey. They're not going to keep up. Quit lying to yourself. They're not. They don't care how great their offensive line is, wherever they're at. They're not going to be able to block them boys all game. Maybe a half a quarter. I don't know. But it's going. The advantage and the difference going to show the same way it showed on Colorado last year when they went up against elite defensive linemen. Other than the fact they was twerking. I digress. I don't know what credit to get or what. That UCLA game, the way they were sacking Shador, and I'm watching them intentionally miss blocks. Yeah. That's why I support you and some of it, because you don't belittle the fans. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think nobody belittle the fans but the people who don't have a platform. That's why they don't have one. And that's why nobody is going to support it, because it's like the people who come in here actually. Why do I expect you to know anything? Why do I expect me to know anything? I'm not here for that. I don't expect you to know the X's and O's for you to be here. Who makes that expectation of fans? No fan base has that expectation, but Colorado fans must know football. Fan is somebody who support on a higher level than just a supporter. They spend their money, they spend their time, and they use you as entertainment. That's what they do. They're entertained by what you're doing, and that's what they want to do as their pastime. That's all you can expect. That's all you can expect from people who says you have to be a scholar. I mean, if you want to be a scholar, great, but I don't expect that. Primes also give boys a great experience of how. Yeah, I think Coach Prime just gonna give a good experience on how any organization that's elite runs, because he's a businessman. He's been with NFL Network. He's been at the highest level of everything. So he's showing them. You got to remember, Prime played Major League Baseball too. So he's just a professional, period. He knows how things should run, how it should operate from a personnel standpoint and all. So, they get a top shelf lesson on how everything should work. So when these guys go off in life, they're not going to settle for less, because they've experienced it on every level. The mindset, the relationships, they're looking up. They're not looking down. Yeah, I think McCaskill came here. I feel like, I don't know why he didn't transfer last year, but maybe he thought he would be the premier guy, and then they kept bringing in running backs, and then he left. And I don't know why he would expect anybody to bank on. I don't know if you can't, just like he got hurt before, just like all them boys got hurt this spring game, the running backs will get hurt. I'm telling y'all that right now. Greg said it. The running backs will get hurt. We've seen it. It can be just sensitive shoulder. It could be a tweaked hamstring. It can be a twisted ankle. It don't have to be, you have to go have surgery and sit out the rest of the season. It could be just, your ankle's a little tender. You don't need to play this game. You need to take a week or two off. And we need you to get all the way back healthy. We don't need you to keep playing on a bum ankle till you tear something up, or you favoring the ankle and then you tear up the other knee. All that stuff happens because you favoring, you lean. I fractured my fibula trying to favor a groin, and somebody swiped my leg off under me, but my leg was kind of sticking out because I was favoring. And so stuff can happen. I don't know. You say finesse. I think he just realized his vision of what he thought was gonna happen wasn't gonna happen, and he just got tired of. But either way, where he going, he finna split carries. So I don't know. Do a live on the first game. I mean, I've been thinking playing back and forth with doing a live. Think about doing a live. You can't show the game, so it live will look like this. It will look like us watching the game, and then me like, yeah. What y'all think? Like almost like what people would do on a Twitter or Clubhouse, because you're not watching the game together. Even when you see people who show the game, they typically either got the game fully up, they gonna get the jump tag, they're gonna lose the monetization and all that. Maybe they don't care. And then they're gonna, during halftime, they might say, "This is brought to you by," and they just kind of screaming it like that. Some people who might have the nerve to put the game in a little bitty box while they are split screening it. I don't know if that makes sense. The only thing you really would see as far as somebody like me watching the game is you literally watching me watch the game. Like, yeah, y'all see that? Oh, like that, like you watching the game together. That's the closest thing to what we would see outside of a watch party or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. We've been playing with the idea of a watch party in Atlanta. We're entertained that as we come. Whether it's early or later in the season, we consider that. I don't know what that would look like, but that would be interesting, to say the least. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you mean, but I mean, yeah. Alto left before people committed, because people don't commit overnight. So you say he left before anybody came, but they came as soon as he left. That means that they was already in the process. He's not ignorant to what's going on. The coaches is not hiding it. Everybody know that they were recruiting running backs. If that's the case, Savion left before they left. Dylan left before they left. Why did they leave? If nobody was coming, why would they leave? Clearly, they knew somebody was coming. I know Amos was one of them. I know Hayden was one of them. Clearly, they was in the process of talking to Brandon Hood. And then I think Auguste came later. Auguste, whatever. He came later and after the portal closed because they wanted one more running back. So I know we brought in another freshman running back, which I'm sure they knew was coming. And then, now we have brought in 3 more, which replaced 3. So basically, Amos didn't come, but let's say Hayden replaced Dylan. And then let's say Auguste replaced McCaskill, and then let's say Hood replaced Savion. So we just basically swapped. We not a flooded over room. We just basically replaced what we had. You're going to need the depth. I'm going to say it again. Injuries will happen. This is a long, hard fought season. People do twist ankles. People do pull hamstrings. People do get concussions. People do shoulder get hit, the wrong way. Stuff do happen. And, it's part of it. So you got to have depth. You don't want to be caught in a place where you got to put your little, what was his name, like we did in the spring game back there. We don't want to be in that situation where you have to do that. It's nobody is giving you sympathy points. Watch party. North side Atlanta. What's considered north side Atlanta? Yeah, I'm not sure. Cause are you talking about Buckhead? Yeah. Came from my feed. Camera's feed. Oh, that's what they doing? Oh. I mean, I think people been playing with that idea. I think people been, but I think Buff and Prime just made it their own. I think some people kind of just point out certain things, but as far as the nuances behind it, what made Buff and Prime special is that's all they do. See, some people kind of added that to their repertoire, but that's all Buff and Prime do. They're not doing interviews. They're not doing all that other stuff. That's all they do is look at people film. That's what makes them unique. So they found their lane. I think a lot of people found their lane. And that's how they got where they are. And then sometimes people add stuff later, like, we look at people like Rob Mann. He was one of the barbershop style platforms using the StreamYard. That was his thing. You seen a couple other people kind of do it, and they're kind of spent off from what he was doing. But he said he came from Colin, but Colin was always just a guy kind of sitting at the park or sitting at the house talking about all this inspirational stuff, and he kind of put the spiritual with it, and that was he created that lane. I can respect that. I have some of that component. I have an inspiration motivation on Sunday. So, that's everybody find their lane. That's the beauty. And you can't find nobody else that got all these various looks. I think John the Liquidator always did breaking news. All that breaking news, everything breaking news. Oh, shit, what happened? That's what he do. Don't I expect Colorado? All they had was breaking news. They had to replace a whole 40 people. So he was that guy breaking news every 5 minutes. That's what made him what he was. These people did their thing, and I think everybody has their area. So, do your thing. Yeah, of course it's better because, like I've said many times. I mean, you had a running back who was 150 pounds soaking wet, fast, but they can hit him with an arm and just knock him across the room. They ain't even got to get off the block. They can just stick their arm out. He ain't breaking no tackles. Then you had a running back who was supposed to be the second coming, never came. And, and so you already 2 running backs less than what you want. The only problem I can blame, and somebody else said it, probably even one of our haters, and I agree. I feel like they should have used Savion more, but I know he had some injuries and stuff, some going on that maybe we didn't know about. But they used Hankerson. That was the only thing left, Hankerson and Savion after that. And I felt like they didn't really use Savion. He got in, he did some things. He never got in the flow. Savion can run that ball. And he did some things, but it just, he never got that groove. And we had Smoke too. Smoke never got whatever he supposed to get. So I ain't never seen him really do that. So it's like they was confused on what they wanted to do in the backfield. It was no real identity. I know you want to use different back, that's fine, but it just was like you said, you want to put Dylan in on certain days. Like, that was 3rd and 18. It's like it's like no method to it. It was just very weird to figure out. Somebody that has committed, don't know who. One thing for sure, like I said, somebody gonna bring it out. Somebody ain't gonna bring it out. I don't even know how many people was there. I didn't know it was some people who knew gonna be there, some people didn't. But it's gonna be coming out soon. There's one thing you can trust about our people. They're gonna let people know. I think you should do a post-game show at every game instead of live stream during the game. Well, that's what this show originated from. This show originated for a post-game show. That's why we do it on Sundays. But what would happen is his schedule was all over. I mean, we had some day games, some night games, some Friday, we had a few Friday games. So sometimes I had a Friday game and I would jump on Saturday. But that's where this Sunday show came from. Post game, we recapping what happened at the game and we recapping what happened in the week. So that's what we do on Sunday morning. To be honest, it wasn't shifted enough. He's a straight line runner. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of times how a lot of speed guys are. Unless you like a Barry Sanders or somebody. But yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't a lot of cut and move and jerk in open space. That's true. That's true. That's a good point. I just think that when you look at Colorado, let's say for the backfield, the pass, their backfield, like I said, was really, you say we didn't have a running game, but you're like, really, what did you have? You had a guy who's supposed to be your home run hitter, freshman All-American, never really recovered. Didn't trust his legs, never really got to be who he supposed to be. Dylan's supposed to be a home run hitter, but he was too small to do anything. So, but that one-dimensional thing, and the offenses wasn't versatile enough to get him moving out in space and get him open. It was just, I don't know what was going on. So when you look at Hankerson and Wilkerson, they were, I want to say similar. Hankerson maybe consider more wiggle. I think Wilkerson more downhill, and they both were like similar. Like they had the same height, similar weight. It was no diversity in our run room, so we didn't have no big bat. They could have converted some big bats. I don't know. So by default, I feel like we have this year what we should have had last year. We got that middle tier bat who Hankerson and Sabian supposed to be in Hayden. We have that McCaskill style bat in Auguste. I get that right. And then I think when you look at you got your nice little bruiser in the McHale and Mike, not McHale, Welch. You got Welch. So I think in any of those situations, I think you have more look. Now you still don't have that big old bat like we thought. If I said they gave us Amos, didn't fool, and they knew exactly what to do. They knew to go pay him off and go make him disappear. Because man, that just would have been too much of a variety right there. You had that big bat, you would have had that mid-tier bat, and you got some people with some speed. Hood, like I said, he a big size guy running a 10-8. And he's still recovering from the injuries that he had. So you got a guy who could really do some damage in the open field. Plus, you got some interesting like combination hybrid bats that you can throw back there and do what you seen in the spring when you can throw a Cam Michael back there and do some stuff in and out the backfield with speed, as well as Dravion Miller. So Draylon Miller. So you have some options to play with in those slot motion in the backfield. You have some interesting things depending on how creative and mysterious Pat Shermer want to be. That's the difference. I hope that it's a lot more emotion and movement and using pieces. We did lose Michael Harrison. I like Michael Harrison. He wasn't a big tight end, but what I did like about him, he know how to get open because he had some receiver qualities. And if anything, I mean, he wasn't like a big tight end. We did go get some big tight ends. We don't talk about that a lot. We went and got a couple big tight ends. We got one from Ohio State. We let one go over the spring because it just didn't pan out the way he thought, I guess. But so we do have some big body tight ends that's coming that can look like a tight end can line up and block. I don't know what the catching look like. I don't know if they would need to catch, but I know we got some that can line up. And then but I like Michael Harrison as a hybrid because he had enough weight, but he wasn't a receiver. I think he was like 220, 230, maybe 240, which is decent. And he wasn't the tallest guy, but what I did like, he was able to get open and he catch that ball. I think him staying would have been great. I would have loved to see him offer the scholarship. We had so many scholarships to give. I would have loved to see him get it. I don't know what happened. I would have loved to see him stay and put on another 15, 20 pounds and hit that weight room in the offseason and get him a scholarship. I don't know what happened. Maybe he thought the grass was greener, but I like that what he did. I don't know what Small gonna do, Perkinson, but I do know Perkinson is an athlete. Is it Pearson? Pearson. He's an athlete. He was a good athlete in high school, and he's physical. You know, he come from the linebacker core, but he's not tall. He's like 6'2", maybe 6'3". Same thing with Small. So I really like them boys coming out the backfield as a hybrid tight end. You know, kind of send back in like a little different one of those hybrid roles, kind of off the line, motion, go, you know, be a pulling, a kick out blocker on some of those runs, but they athletic enough to just, you know, sneak a ball to them. I really like them more of that hybrid tight end fullback look because they built like fullbacks and they physical. One come from the defensive line, one come from linebacker. So I would love to see them used as like blocking fullback tight ends. You know, it's going to be interesting because I do think we need some fullbacks, and I do think that they could serve as those fullbacks in those schemes, both of them. So when you want to have a traditional tight end in there, or when you have a non-traditional tight end, I think we do have both. I think we do have both to be in the playoff. Had to be a payoff to keep to the Backfield stat. Why would the spot? he definitely got paid off. We know that. He definitely got paid off. We know that. And the first thing I thought is they're going to either have to pay him off or put him in the trunk because that's one piece they didn't want CU to have. I said, boy, they finna give away because we had gotten Kill Green. We was trying to get that other linebacker from Tennessee, but I like Chainsaw. He's just a no name, come from FCS. They ain't respecting him, but that's a big boy who can hit. He can read, and that's what a linebacker do. I don't care what y'all talking about these levels and all that. He can hit. He had a size, and he can play. So he now had a name Tennessee on it, but he gonna show you. But we had Amos around that same time before, you know, we were looking at the other two linebackers. Like, boy, they finna give us that in the running back for Ohio State. Oh, they just solidified our offense. We taking the conference. That's what I said. The next thing I know, oh, he's about to flip again. I'm like, oh, boy, that makes sense to me. Because y'all just really just want to just certify, get this conference away. I don't even know why we would y'all wouldn't be having no discussions about the back room when you got a 6'2", 230 running back. Then you got to hate it. You know, you got that size variation in the West. You know, everybody ain't the same size at that point. So it definitely had to pay that boy off. That's one piece they couldn't afford for Colorado to have. Well, I'm sure they did it with some other pieces, but defense and stuff. But they let the defense get too loaded. I'm gonna tell y'all, the defense is too loaded to play with. Yeah, Pearson definitely got potential. I like him in that hybrid fullback. I think he can definitely be that kind of fullback at the next level. In the right scheme. Yeah, he knew how to get open. That boy knew how to get open. But Colorado's offense is mysterious. And what's dangerous about Colorado offense is they really didn't need a whole lot. See, y'all forget Coach Prime said, I need 7 or 8 more dogs. Do you think he got 7 or 8? He said 7 or 8 more dogs. Do you think he got 7 or 8? I'm going to tell you. They let this guy get a lot more than he needed. Different style running back. Amos was more of a bruiser. I think this guy's more shifty than Amos and faster than Amos for sure. But like from a variety standpoint, Amos was a big back. Now I think this guy can become a big back. He's young. I think he can put on 15 more pounds of muscle and be 220, 225. He can be a nice size running back because they're the same height. But he's not going to be that this year. So he's more like McCaskill right now, maybe a little bigger. maybe a little bit. Maybe he's what McCaskill was, size wise, height, running style. That's what the running back from Arkansas is. So, like I said, he was a good replacement, identical. I saw that from the jump, identical style, just without the history and the numbers as a freshman and all that, because he redshirted Arkansas, and McCaskill was just ran all over. Had like how many touchdowns he had? About 18 touchdowns, which is unheard of for pretty much anybody. It's never less a freshman. So that's the weight that McCaskill carried. That's the name he carried. This guy here is considered unproven because he played a few games, but he didn't do nothing significant. This is his chance to do something significant. And he's able. And I don't want to put all that pressure on these backs and put pressure and put the numbers on their body. I want them to keep fresh and healthy. Don't be stingy. Don't put no weight on one person. Spread that thing out and let us make that long run, because health is going to be a big part. That back of Colorado's schedule is so kind of similar like last year, but it's going to be telling because they have some of these front runners on that back end. I mean, you got guys who going to Utah, Oklahoma State. These are some of the guys who they're trying to say going to be rivals for trying to win this conference. You're going to catch them at the end, which is great. I mean, you got time to jail, time to pick up out, but you're also looking at they're going to have more film on you, more idea of your tendencies than the teams on the front end. You also got to look at who's going to manage their injuries and the body count, basically. Who's going to manage that the best? Who quarterback going to still be healthy? Who running back still going to be healthy? Who defensive backs? Who going to have the starters that's still healthy? That's where it's all going to come in. And how you manage them on the front end is going to determine how healthy, because nobody's going to be 100%. So what are they going to look like? What are their ankles and their knees going to be looking like on the offensive line? Who battling shoulder injuries? Who's going through that? You got to look at all of that and see what is Colorado going to look like at the back end of the season. But the reality is Colorado does have the depth to be able to waver any potential, but they don't have it at quarterback. So the offensive line is going to be critical about keeping that man clean. Now, the repercussions of that is if they do that, it's going to be hard to beat them because he's just going to score too many points. So it's a catch-22. It's like, okay, we want to keep Shedeur healthy, but the consequence of that for the other team is if he's healthy and he is less hit, if he only get hit, let's just throw a number out there. This man got sacked 50 times. That's not it. 52, whatever times. Sack. That's not included pressure, hurries, or hit after the play. That's not included none of that. We came up with a number around by low 80% that every play, every game, he was hit. Whether it was a sack or pressure or whatever, he was up under that 80%. 81, 82, 80% of the time. That's what he was up. That's what he faced. So the reality is, if you don't really put pressure on him and sack him, you just very Jackson State-ish. If that line do their job, and they do it well, it's a real problem. But if they do their job and cut that number in half or more, you're looking at a very hard to beat team. You really are. Because the last thing you want to do is give Shedeur a clean pocket or ability to get the ball, because his receivers be open. He has very talented receivers. Your best bet is to get to him versus you think you're going to have enough DBs to stop Will Shepard, Wester, Marion Miller, or even Tim is a baby T on the other side, or Travis Hunter out there. It's going to be hard for you to have three guys. How many DBs you finna put out there? And if you do soften your defense like that, that's when that running game really could expose you. And the reality is our linemen are stronger at run blocking. So if you do have to soften up like that, You're gonna have to soften up because somebody gonna have to be over the top and help and support. You see what Amarion Miller did to USC. People say, "Oh, USC." That cornerback, I think they say he went to Alabama. The one he was doing to transfer. That's what I heard. I ain't verified. So he was that garbage. I don't know if he would go to Alabama. But if you have to double team him, how you play your cards? You got West in the slot. You're gonna have to pick your poison. You're gonna have to worry about this guy because you know the linebacker ain't gonna come. Streaking up your middle, who gonna cover that man over top out there? You're gonna have to pick over top, or you're gonna have to watch your middle. And that kind of rationale don't work well when you got two guys who really can mess your whole game up. They really can mess your whole game up. Yeah. Boy, they said the boy went to Alabama. Yeah. These guys, Wester can mess your whole game up. He can easily go for 100 yards every game. He easily can do it and just chop you off 20, 30 yards at a time. Easily. He don't need 20 receptions to do that. He can get 8 receptions and do it because the amount of yardage he eats up per catch. The fact that he can eat up the middle of your field, your defense better know what they're doing. And I don't see you loading up the box, hoping you get a Shador is going to help you with somebody like Wester with his knowledge, IQ, and skill set. It's going to be a problem. And I think Jimmy Horn is more knowledgeable too, working with somebody like a Wester. I think that iron sharpens iron. But having a guy like that in the slot, we just didn't have, except Travis when he played it. This guy here is going to be a problem on the offensive side of the ball. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. They talking around it. He got all this production coming in, all these all conference stuff, and watching average like 40. So we definitely. I mean, we didn't even got to look that far. Shador in the beginning of the season, he was averaging right on the 40 with the same line until the injuries and all that caught up, exposure caught up. This man was throwing. I mean, remember, he threw 5 touchdowns his first game. Oh, they thought that was the first game with a brand new team. How y'all write off everything that's done right there? It was a brand new team. The same stuff y'all say, oh, they don't have no chemistry. He did that with a no chemistry team. Now, we got to factor in Dylan scored by 4 by himself, 4 touchdowns. But I'm saying, like, pretty much all the receivers had 100 yards, too. You know. So, and guess why Dylan was able to get open? Because they were running for their life trying to cover our receivers. That's why you dumped that ball out in the flat, so there was nobody to be found. Because they were running for their life, keeping them, because they know the receivers was burning them. See, it opened up stuff out the backfield. I hear a lot of people say the running game, the running game opened up the passing game. But in our case, our passing game is the best friend of our running game. Because if they don't get their butt back, they finna get burnt. And if they get back far enough and our running back get the ball, it's downhill. It's got to pick your poison. So having that running game to rival that, what they say, they got to respect this. It's a beautiful thing. Because if they didn't respect it, then they can just say, hey, bring the house. We're going to bank on you not getting the ball to your receivers. Or like they did in the beginning of the season in Nebraska, we're going to drop 8. We're going to rush 3. We don't respect your line, and we're going to drop 8. And that's when your running game really come in. But y'all keep in mind, they beat Nebraska 33-7 before, it ended up being like 36-14. But the reality is Nebraska got a fumble in the red zone and scored in the end of the game with less than a minute left. So that don't even really count. As a matter of fact, the starters, everybody was out the game. So that's called a garbage time for real. So with all that dropping 8, Shador still slice and dice them. So we can't even say that worked. The only thing we can say that could have worked is the fact that they blitzed on that line and the line was twerking and they just let people through. And they weren't even tricking them. They just let them through. Maybe they got the code that, hey, we're going to let them hit the quarterback because we got called out. I don't know. Coach leaving. I don't know. But the reality, I feel like Colorado's been disrespected. And maybe I go more into this. knowledge for Big 12. We got several guys knowledge for first team, second team, third and fourth team. It's cute. And I feel like, I mean, it's cute you're knowledgeable, but like, really, I want to see your first team. Like, when you put people like Hayden and the BJ Greens, when you put them guys on the second team, and these guys are the top guys from the portal, and you're not going to acknowledge either one of them like it's a true first team from what they've done. Like, who are you disrespecting people who was there last year? Like, what's really going on? You put Shador at second team. You put another quarterback over him who ain't even played in the last couple of years. You just do anything to spite him. He ain't even had to prove himself. This guy just did what he did last year with no line. And then you put a guy in there, make him first team with no production. That's disrespectful to me. It's disrespectful when you it's disrespectful. And I know you put Shiloh and all, you just threw some people in because you have the knowledge. But what I say is, does that sound like a losing team when you get that many people from your, like, what losing team had that many people of knowledge in preseason? Period. That's not saying that's going to be, but I'm saying, like, even with the disrespect, do you still get to say they're not a decent team in their conference? That was interesting to me. I always find it interesting that nobody want to give Shador number one in there. He ain't gonna be the number one drafted. He ain't gonna be the number one passing. He ain't gonna even be number one in his conference. But they say he could have went top 10 last year, but he come back and you still treat him like everybody who won't even mention last year is now better than him. Like Beck wasn't considered a top quarterback last year like that. Yet, he come back now. He better than Shador. They're always willing to put somebody over Shador. They're gonna pay for that. They have to pay for that. That line needs to get out there. Their line needs to get out there, and they need to go to work. They need to spend the night in the weight room, whatever they got to do, get their knees and ankles strong, act like the military with them, and go out in the woods and survive together. They need to do what they need to do, and let Shador do his thing. We looking at, with Juju come and all that. What Shador do? I mean, of course, he's going to make his decision, quote unquote, before the season starts. But the platform and the stage is set by Shador. Shador having a successful season, passing that torch on is critical because it takes a lot of weight off the next year guy. Next year guy, you're a freshman, this, whatever. But it's no longer we got to prove ourselves. It's no longer can Colorado or Coach Prime do it. You take that weight off of the next year guy. Can they get the top guy in the draft? Have they ever had a top quarterback drafted? All of that is right here in the hands of Shador in Colorado. Kill that foolishness. You try to spin it how you want. Say, because he coach. Say what you want. You're not gonna be able to say, because you already know what's about to come. You know Trav is going, and you can't say he with Colorado. So you put two guys in the top 10 out of Colorado. What you gonna say? And they came with the coach. But your whole thing, and can't Coach Prime produce it? It's about to die. DJ Green, what he do? They're about to kill it. What Benson do? These are draftable guys. Draft, not free agents. No, we're talking about drafted. What these guys do this year is gonna kill all that mess we hearing this year. Gonna die. It's gonna be a different talk next year. What Coach Prime could do, has he been proven yet? Has he put anybody in the league? That's going to be a different conversation. It's going to be a different everything. That's the future of Colorado. It's going to look very different. I'm going to tell y'all one thing. Have y'all a little popcorn and whatever, binocular, everything. You need to have it ready because it's going to be a spicy season. We got a lot going on in the world. And you got a lot going on in football. And it's going to be interesting for everybody, for the haters and the supporters alike. It count on down because it's coming. Time, we ain't got to rush it. It's going to come fast. It's going to go fast. Last season went fast. We ain't got to rush nothing. We're already coming up on July in a week. Get y'all self ready. Red said it. We ready. You got any ideas? We're gonna be open to it. Only God knows what we're gonna be doing, but we ready for it. It's gonna be exciting. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that Tanggula box for all y'all still here. I'm gonna close out with that. Appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all coming through. As I'm take us out. Oh.